Okay, so now I'm going to talk about adjective, form, position, and agreement. Okay, so just like your articles, your adjectives have to agree with the nouns that they describe. The first type of adjective that we're going to talk about are descriptive adjectives. They give the size, color, and shape of nouns. Okay, so the information that a descriptive adjective gives is size. Wait a minute, that didn't work right. Is size, color, and shape. Okay. Um, so una clase grande, un cuaderno rosado. So grande and rosado are adjectives. Grande is telling you that the class is big. Rosado is telling you that the notebook is pink. Here are some adjectives to help you talk about yourself and others. Aburrido, bueno, malo, perezoso, simpático, trabajador. Here's some more. We can go through the list in a minute, but let's go over what to do with them. Descriptive adjectives agree in gender and number with the nouns they describe. So agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. Okay? And they generally follow the nouns, meaning they're written after. So profesor bueno, señora simpática. Okay? All right, so we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about these guys, but let's do the first set of practice. So the big thing is that they've got to agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. So if you have a profesor, and that's a masculine male professor, you're going to use bueno. But then simpático, which up here, I think they gave it, did they give you some? Yeah, here's simpático. They changed it to simpática to agree with the señora. And rojo, they made it rojos to agree with the bolígrafo. So let's do some practice so that you can see what I mean by that. Okay, so here we've got mi mochila es negro. Okay, so what we're describing as being black is the mochila. Okay, so mochila happens to be feminine and singular. Okay, so now we've got negro out here. If an adjective ends in O in Spanish, that means it's going to actually have 4 spellings. Negro could be negro, negra, negros, negras. So negro is a masculine singular spelling of black. Negra is a feminine singular spelling of black. Negros is a masculine plural spelling of black, and negras is a feminine plural spelling of black. So if you're given an adjective and it ends in O, you can change the O to an A, and then you can add an S to both of those forms to get a plural of it. So given that mochila is feminine and singular, I want the black that's feminine and singular. That's not negro, that's not negros, and that's not negras. What I want is just plain old negra. So mi mochila es negra. Okay, el profesor es inteligente. Okay, now, if you're given an adjective and it ends in something other than O, then it only has 2 spellings. It's going to have a singular form and a masculine form. So inteligente and oops. Okay, so what is intelligent this time is the professor, okay? And since we've got L in front of professor, we know that professor is a masculine and it's a singular word because there's no S on the end of professor. Okay, so again, my options were inteligente, inteligentes. If it's just one professor, then I'm gonna want inteligente. I don't want inteligentes. I only use that if it would have used that if it had been 2 professors. Okay, so tengo unos libros azul. We want to tell the color of what the books are what this sentence is about. Books happens to be masculine and plural. Azul doesn't end in O, so there's only 2 spellings of it. There's azul, and because it ends in a consonant, I can add an ES to that word and that's how I get the plural spelling of it. And which one of these matches libros? It's going to be azules, because libros is masculine and plural. So azules is the masculine plural spelling of blue. Ana y Marta son, and I've got trabajador. Now, okay, most of the time, adjectives that end in something other than O don't have feminine forms, okay? Just like what we were doing with azul and inteligente. There was no feminine form of those guys, okay? However, adjectives of nationality and those that end in DOR do add an A to their consonant to get a feminine form. So adjectives of nationality, oops, and those that end in DOR can add an A to make a feminine form. So these guys have a feminine form. Even though they don't end in O, these guys do have a feminine. Okay. And so all you do is you add an A to the end of their consonant to get a feminine form. So if we go out here, we have trabajador. Okay, so what that means is that you have trabajador, and then you could add an A and have trabajadora. Well, you can make both of those guys plural. So to make them both plural, trabajador, if I want to make it plural, it ends in a consonant, so I add an ES to it, and trabajadora, however, ends in a vowel, so I just add S. So those are my four forms. If we're talking about Ana y Marta, then the one that I want is the feminine plural one, which is not trabajador. It's not trabajadora. It's not trabajadores. What I want is trabajadoras. Okay. Mis amigos son simpáticos. Simpático ends in O, so there are going to be four spellings of simpático. So I've got simpático, and I can change it to an A. I can add an S to each of those. And amigos is masculine and plural, so I don't want simpático. I don't want simpática. I do want simpáticos. I don't want simpáticas. Okay, and again, that's because mis amigos is who are nice. And then here, mi universidad, and universidad is singular and feminine. It's what's expensive. So caro could actually be caro, because it ends in O, I can make it cara. I can add an O to both of those, caros, caras, okay? So I want the one that matches mi universidad. That's not caro, it's cara. It's not caros, and it's not caras. Okay. Paco's un estudiante muy blank. What I'm trabajador, hardworking, what I'm describing is estudiante, and we know it's a male student because of Paco. And so trabajador could be trabajador. I can add an A to it, trabajadora. I can add an S to, I can make both of those plural for trabajador. It ends in a consonant, so I add an ES to make it plural. Trabajadora ends in an A, so I would add an S to make it plural. The one that I want, though, is the masculine singular spelling, which is trabajador. Okay, las mesas son. Okay, we're talking about mesas here. Grande ends in it ends in something other than O, and it is not an adjective of nationality. It doesn't tell where somebody's from, and it is not an adjective that ends in DOR, like trabajador. So I only have two options, grande and grandes, and the one that I would want is grandes because mesas is plural. That's the one that agrees. Then I've got los profesores, and I've got extrovertido. It ends in O, so there's actually four spellings. Extrovertido. I can change that O to an A. Extrovertida. And then I can add an S to both of those. Extrovertidos, extrovertidas. And the one that I want for los profesores, because it's masculine and plural, is going to be extrovertidos. Okay, las sillas son gris. So I have sillas. And gris ends in S. There's only going to be two spellings of it. Gris. And because it ends in S, which is a consonant, I add an ES, grises. And the one that matches sillas is going to be grises. Mi clase de español es, what's fantastic is my class, my Spanish class. So it's actually the class that we're looking at, and class is feminine. So fantástico actually has four spellings, but the one that we're going to want is fantástica. Fantástica.